white man is in the building. You already know.
Hey guys, this is Emily Peachy.
Shout out, man, to Worldwide Collaborations, man.
I want to shout out Worldwide Collaborations, LLC.
Shout out to the Worldwide Collaborations, LLC.
World movement, beyond thousands of movements.
The world movement, beyond thousands of movements.
All about representing each other together. So check this out.
What's up? You want to be a part of this? You want to be a part of the Worldwide Collaboration?
You guys should all be a part of Worldwide Collaboration.
Worldwide Collaborations, LLC. Check us out, man, and check what's going on, man. Word up. I have recently been choosing to be a spokesman and an ambassador, so you will see a lot more of me. Join the movement, man. It's beyond thousands of movements right now and talents put together, all about representing each other together.
I want to join, so I might see you there. All right, much success.
Is a worldwide collaboration song.
Yeah. Look, brainstorming, creative thinking, the new ideas, inventing inventions, representing everything, having members.
All right. We're back with another starter episode on the Chatterbox with King Jacob. I am your host, King Jacob, man. Greetings on this motivational Monday, mindful Monday, and this money-making Monday. We are here again on this Monday to try to get it right, man. To try to inspire one another and to try to, just uplift each other in our time of need. So, man, listen, I have a treat for you tonight. This brother needs no introduction, but I'm going to allow him to introduce himself to you. And just go ahead and introduce yourself, brother, and tell people who you are.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? My name is Siloh Moses. I live out in Las Vegas. Got a lot of accolades, but I kind of look at it as a way of like the world just letting me know I'm doing the right thing. I'm a guy out here just doing his thing. I don't know. I'm not that great at doing these intros, bro.
Okay, that's fine. So before we get started on, your backstory, man, because I definitely know it's been a journey. Because a person that does as much as you do doesn't get to there overnight. So when inquiring minds wants to know, younger people who might see you or might come to one of your events, might get invited to an event from a colleague or just through word of mouth, man. And when people want to know the question, who is Siloh Moses? Like, what type of answer is that? Yeah.
I'm just a regular guy out here just doing things I think we all should be doing as brothers and sisters. I believe we're all one. I believe that, the person to our left and the person to our right, they're there for a reason. And it doesn't matter if they have more than you, less than you, none of that matters. What matters is that we're all brothers and sisters, right? So, and a lot of what we do in the community is just that. We serve our brothers and sisters, and we serve those who may have a little bit less than us. They might have a lot more less than us. You know what I mean? They might be people who are, we call less fortunate. Internally, we call them future friends. That's exactly what they are to us. They're people who are future friends, and when they're a friend, you do anything for them. And these people could be. These people could be unemployed. They could be underemployed, which is huge right now, right? That's like the single mom, single dad working 3 jobs just to keep food in the fridge, right? And keep the lights on. To even people who are quote unquote homeless, right? We don't like to use the word homeless. We like to use, again, future friends. But that's what we do. And we serve. We're just out in the community serving people. We're powered people. Like, we're powered by the people. We don't have any, we're not tied to any major charity organizations. We're not tied to any church. Not that that means anything. It's just that we're just people serving people like brothers and sisters. That's all.
Right. Well, I heard Russell Simmons say this back in 1993. He said, "Well, there's work to be done. There's a service to be rendered."
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's definitely something that I live by, and I can see you do too. So, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I say salute for that. So, man, you do so much. So we gonna give them a business insider / business development. So for you, how did business start for you, and when did you know that you could run a business?
Yeah, I think I knew ever since I was when I was young, right? So my very first quote unquote business, I was like hustling from like my locker during middle school, like whatever it was. It didn't matter if it was like candy. Like I just always had this thing within me that always kind of went against the rules. Now I didn't and go against them entirely, but I knew what the rules were. And then I played with them nicely. I played with them in a way that works for me, right? Never intentionally broke the rules, but I played with the rules so that they worked for me. So, ever since I was a kid, I always had the vision of being my own boss, right? I always had the vision of doing something much bigger than myself. And that always comes down to service. I was always in service to someone else. When you're a business owner, you're in service to everyone. You're in service to your employees, you're in service to your vendors, you're in service to your customers, you're in service to your investors, you're in service. And that's the way I look at business. I look at business just being in service and working with people who I like, right? And filling a need that they have, whether that's a product or a service they don't know how to get on their own, right? Mm-hmm. And if I happen to make a little bit of money offering them that service or finding that product for them, then so be it. We all win.
Right. Okay. It's dope. It's dope. So, for the people who don't understand how important business development is, can you elaborate on developing a business and what's the necessary key step that one should take when trying to develop a lucrative business?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, right? So, one of the things that I would do looking into a business is I would ask myself, what is it that I enjoy doing? I said, what is it that other people are missing? And how can I enjoy delivering what they're missing and make some money while doing it? Right? So look at what you enjoy. So if you enjoy painting, get into the painting market. If you enjoy arbitrage with sneakers, okay, because you always want to have the nice sneakers on your feet, or you just know the fine details of Jordans that no one else knows. Right, that's valuable in the market, especially to people who want to buy Jordans, exclusive Jordans, but don't have that knowledge. Right, so here you are. You're someone who you're practicing something you love, which is sneakers, right? Specifically Jordans. Okay, you're providing knowledge, which has value in the marketplace, and you're also providing to people who don't have that value, and you're helping them become smarter. So whether you're flipping Jordans or flipping how to buy the correct Jordans and to look out for Jordans that might not necessarily be real, and how to find collectibles and how to find the unique Jordans that if you sold them on the open market might sell for like $3,000, that's huge, especially the person who loves Jordans. So getting into it, again, first thing I do is I would look at what I love. So I would take a list, I would get a piece of paper, grab a pen, I'd write down the top 10 things that I love, right? That I would do for free. It doesn't matter if I did it for 5 years and no one paid me, right? It doesn't matter if I did it for 5 years and I had no customers. I would do it 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years because I love it so much, right? Then what I would do is I would look at the marketplace and see where the gap is at. Where's the gap between what I love and those who also like what I love but don't know it as well as I do? And then what I would do is I'd build a bridge in between what I love, covering that gap to the customer to provide them with what I know, with whatever that's knowledge or a product. And then I would find a way to deliver it to them. And finding a way to deliver it to them would be social media, creating videos, buying ads, putting up a website, doing whatever you need to do to say, hey, I'm here. This is what I offer. This is what you're missing, the gap in the marketplace, and here's how I fill it. Come buy it from me.
Okay. Impressive. Okay. And so, man, there's a lot that you have did, man, and as far as you speak to audiences, you coach people, you're a writer, you're phenomenal in front of the camera, behind the camera. So, man, how did you grow that passion for all of those things?
Yeah. It's the power of compounding. So when you do something and you do it year over year, it starts to compound. So I'll give you an example. So one of the organizations that I have is an organization that gives back in the community, and we help those who are less fortunate, right? So that's what we were talking about at the very top of this, right? And what we do is we service those, again, being in service. That's what business is. Doesn't matter if it's for profit or nonprofit. We service those people who are less fortunate with fresh food, clothing, hygiene, haircuts, job resources. Like, we do it all. We do it all for free, and we do it to the best of our ability. We're actually the best at doing it, if you ask me, right? So we didn't start off with this grand idea that we're going to go out into the community and we're going to serve 1,000 people, and these 1,000 people, we're going to serve them with food, clothing, hygiene, haircuts, and resources. No, we started off with serving one person food, which was a pot of spaghetti. That was it. Now, the power of compounding is, now that we've been doing this for almost 8 years, that pot of spaghetti compounded into not just offering food services and serving one person, to offering even more food and now serving 800 people. Now offering haircuts and food and serving 1,200 people. And then in year 4, we got into hygiene. And then we started offering food, haircuts, hygiene. And now we're, at that point, we're serving hundreds of thousands of people, right? So we've served over 174,000 people locally in our community for free.
Oh, wow.
With all food, clothing, and hygiene, and haircuts, and hugs, and love, and you name it, right? And not one, again, we don't have any massive corporate sponsors. We're not tied to any political or any church. We're just out there, people serving people, neighbors serving neighbors. And all of our resources come from our own kitchens. All of our resources come from our own closets. All of our resources come from our own bathrooms, right? But again, how we got there was we had one pot of spaghetti, one dream, served one person, and the power of compounding, it grew over time to this massive organization we have now, where it's over 100 people who work directly with me every day, 7 days a week, to serve hundreds of thousands of people with multiple solutions.
Wow. That's amazing.
I know I gave a lot right there, but you know what I mean?
Hey, Brother Moses, that's amazing. And I just want to say, man, I commend you, man. That's great, man. There's so many people that's less fortunate, and when you can give a helping hand and uplift people and give them something to feel good about, and give them the wisdom and the knowledge to understand, you fail a little bit. It's okay. It ain't over, because you got people who gonna help you and pick you up. We gonna give you, we gonna feed you, we gonna put some weight back on you, we gonna say some prayers. We gonna get that mind right first. We gonna make sure you got proper clothing, some resources. We gonna take care of them hygiene, and we gonna make you feel good about going back out of society. To me, that's priceless, man. That's more than a person having millions of dollars. Because when you have all those attributes, then you can go get you $1 million. You know what I mean?
Yep. And and going back to your question too, the way that it compounds into everything I'm doing today, speaker, coaching, author, serving the community, meals, business owner, all of this stuff compounds on top of that. Because in the very beginning, all I wanted to do was go serve those who are less fortunate. I didn't have a business. I didn't have a book. I didn't know how to speak on stage. I wasn't opening up for people like Les Brown. I didn't have anything, right? I just wanted to go serve. And then over time, it just compounded where people wanted to get to know me more because we were out making all these huge impacts locally in the community. And it was like, hey, can you come talk on our stage? Hey, why don't you write a book? Hey, why aren't you coaching? Maybe you could coach people in business and how to build a community and how to give back and make a deep impact. And that's how things started to progress. And that's how things started to compound to where I am today. Where I am today is just 9 years of compounding. That's all it is.
That's dope, man. That's dope. We got our good brother, Charles King, checking in, man. He says, "What's good, my brothers?"
What's up, Charles?
I'm just soaking it all in, man, on all that this brother has accomplished and all that he's going to keep accomplishing. So, you know, Charles, I really appreciate the link, man, for linking us up, man. So now, another thing, man, I really want to talk about, man, is you're a serial entrepreneur and a strategist that understands the full capability on how you can grow a business through artificial intelligence. Wow. So being a serial entrepreneur and understanding the power of AI. So what made you understand the power of AI, and how long did it take you to understand the power of AI?
Yeah, AI is it's here. It's the future, right? If anything, if you ask the right person, they'll tell you it's been around for a long time, right? It's just that we are now figuring out what AI is, right? So, I mean, it's the future, right? Part of being a great business owner or being a great community member is being able to see trends and getting there before the trends happen. So I saw AI starting to kind of blow up in like early 2019. That's when I started to really look into it. This is before people or even knew what it was. This is before ChatGPT. This is before all of that stuff, right? And when you talk to people about AI back then, they were scared. They're like, "You're scaring me. Stop this conversation." Right? But what got me interested in was the fact that, hey, I'm a guy that sees angles. I'm a guy that sees trends, and I like to see waves before they form. I definitely like to be on that wave before it crashes ashore. So I saw AI becoming this next big wave. So I grabbed my surfboard and got on it and started to ride, right? So I created a business around AI that helps business owners automate their business, automate their text messages, voicemails, automate all of their social media platforms. And not only that, but create efficiency in their businesses, like helping them automate their payroll, automate their income statements, and so that they can get back to doing what they really love, right? Goes back to what we were saying before, starting a business, start with something you love, start with something you like. So I saw that there's a need. The need is that this AI thing isn't going nowhere, number one. Number two, it also can help business owners become even smarter business owners. And number three, it can get them back to what they love and get them out of the mundane stuff of checking spreadsheets. And so I said, there's got to be a need out there for this. Somebody out there right now as a business owner is crying every time he opens up a spreadsheet.
Right.
And I thought, hey, listen, if I could provide him with this service that's built on AI where everything's automated, you don't have to look at a spreadsheet maybe once a month, once a week if he's really aggressive, then that's got to be valuable to somebody. So that's when I created my tech business. And now that's exactly what my tech business does. It lets business owners get back to what they love so everything else can become automated and they can leave the mundane behind.
Okay, so you as a creative mind, as an intellectual mind, why do you think that AI is like kind of wrapped this arms around the world and saying, if you don't understand who I am, you will. So you need to study me or get left behind. Because that's really what it's doing right now. And so why you think the importance of AI is not only great for business owners, but also great for education as well?
Yeah, and it goes back to it's not going anywhere. Like, it's here. I'll give you an example. Just the other day, 2 days ago, I went into a Whole Foods. I was at Whole Foods. I was starving. I was like in between meetings, and I was about to go into a meeting, face-to-face meeting that I was driving to. That was going to be an hour. And the last time I ate was like 4 hours ago. I was starving. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go into this Whole Foods. It was the first place I saw, because I didn't want to stop anywhere and get fast food. I just wanted something healthy. I can get in, get out, eat real quick, and get to my meeting. So I went into Whole Foods. I grabbed like a little bag of like mixed fruit, right? And a drink. And I went to the self-checkout aisle. And the self-checkout aisle, which again is technically AI, right? Because there's no cashier there to take your money or take your card, right? So I get to the self-checkout, and there's this reader there. And so it's like, would you like to pay? I go, yes. So I pull out my card, and I'm tapping this reader to pay. Nothing's happening. So there's this lady who works there. I called her over and said, hey, this reader is broken. I'm tapping on it with my card to pay, and it won't let me pay. And she goes, oh, that's not a card reader. And I go, what is that? She goes, it's a palm reader. You can pay with your palm, with your hand. And I went, what? She goes, yes, put your hand up on it, and you can pay with your hand. And I was like blown away. I was blown away, bro. Blown away. And that's where it's going. That's where everything is going, right? At some point, might not be tomorrow, might not be this year, might not even be next 5 years, but in 10 years from now, you'll have a conversation with someone going, yeah, I just walked into the store and paid with my hand. So when we're
That's
looking...
weird. It's weird. It's weird, man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. So I jumped to another line and paid with my card. Right? Of course
you did.
Yeah.
That's wild. So yeah, but AI is something serious, man. Like it's so serious, man. I be cause I look at the stock market a lot. You know, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's investment, whether it's dividend stocks, whether it's penny stocks. And these AI programs are making people tons of money, man.
They are. There's even guys out there that I know that run software companies, and they made a software company where you don't even have to know how to code. And you can create whatever you want. You can create the next ChatGPT, not even know how to code. It's just copy and paste and drag. And in an hour, you got the next ChatGPT. So, I mean, it's incredible. So going back to answer your question, right? So AI is not going anywhere, right? Number two, AI in education. Well, I mean, AI in education would be great if kids were able to use it in a way where it helps eliminate, say, the redundancies in education. So some of those redundancies could be like the kid, for some reason, who's failing out of class. What if AI can tell him exactly where he's failing and how to make it better? So what if AI can tell him, hey, you're failing out of this class because you're missing this part of history. And if you learn this part of history, you'll pass because it's a history class. And if you read about this specific person, you will pass this course. And AI can come in and do that. Yeah, I mean, that's a great way that it can impact education on a positive side.
Right. Okay. Interesting, man. It's very interesting. So, man, you have a book out, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
So, go ahead and give the audience the name of your book, and let's talk about what inspired you to write the book, and let's talk about the creative process that you was in your mindset while writing the book.
Oh, yeah. So the name of the book is called Better Than This, and it's under my pen name, which is M. Hollis. So it's M.HOLIS, which is basically Siloh M backwards, right? Okay. And it's on Amazon right now. You can just search Better Than This by M. Hollis, and it'll come up. My book that I wrote is essentially my diary, which I kept at a time in my life when I myself was homeless. So as I was homeless myself. I went 7 months. I'm out here in Las Vegas. I went 7 months living in Las Vegas. Like, I didn't have a car to sleep in, so I didn't sleep in my car. I didn't have a couch to crash on, so I didn't sleep on any couches. I literally were those people you see sleeping under bridges and eating food out of garbage cans. And I did that for 7 months. So as I was going through homelessness, a lot of people will tell me they ask, they're curious. They're like, how'd you, it's always the first 3 questions are, why did that happen? How did it happen? How'd you get out of it? Right. And then sometimes they'll trickle in the question with, what was the worst part of it? And so I tell people the worst part about being homeless isn't not knowing when you're going to eat again. It's not knowing if you'll have a roof over your head tonight when you sleep. It's not knowing if while you're sleeping, if you'll get robbed or stabbed or whatever that may be, because you're sleeping in an environment, you're outdoor, any crazy person can walk up to you and kick you while you're sleeping. Right? None of that's the worst part. The worst part is how other people who are not homeless treat you. That's the worst part. Right? So it's the guy as you're standing at the intersection at a red light with a sign that says, anything will help. It's a guy that rolls up in his car and rolls up with his windows down, sees you, rolls his windows up, turns his music up, picks up his phone, puts it to his ear, pretending that he's having a conversation so he doesn't have to acknowledge that you're standing there. Right? That's the worst part. Right? So as I was going through homelessness, obviously I didn't have any friends, but what I did have for some reason was a pad and a pen. So what I would do with that pad and pen is I would write. So every morning when I woke up, I'd write about the day I want to have today. I would say, today, I want someone to wave at me. Today, I want someone to call my name. Right? And at night, I would write about the things I experienced throughout the day. And this became a repetitious thing. Now, I can't tell you why I did it. I can't tell you. There was like something in the back of me said, this is gonna be something someday. This is gonna inspire somebody someday. You need to write. So
God
I wrote.
did it, man. God did it.
Yeah. Yep.
For real, man. Because with you being homeless and you still having inspiration to be creative, to write, to share your story on because what you did was painted a picture of a canvas on showing people you can be this way 1 minute, but as long as you pray, as long as you understand that you're a creative person, as long as you understand that the race ain't given to a weak of the strong, but those who are going to do the test, that you can overcome every obstacle and accept every challenge and still move forward. And look at you now. You're inspiring so many lives, but you went through a point in your life where, people didn't value who you were because they didn't take the time to know you. They don't know why you was homeless or when you went homeless, but did they ever stop and just have a conversation with you? Like you maybe want to have a cup of coffee and just have a conversation, So
right.
just because you homeless don't mean you didn't hold high value. You know what I mean? So
right.
my brother, salute to you.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So and God doesn't ask for much, right? God just asks that you believe. That's it.
Right.
He doesn't ask for nothing else, right? So I believed that I had to write. I didn't even question it. So when I eventually finally got back on my feet, one of the first things I did was I put my journey in a book. And then I put that book on Amazon. So now anyone who goes to Amazon right now and buys my book is going to be able to see my journey from day one to being homelessness to the point where I got back on my feet. They're going to be able to read my entire journey, all the experiences I went through being homeless. And hopefully when they're done with it, it inspires them. Because if you have more than lint in your pocket, you had more than I did at that time.
Right.
So yeah.
Man. Yeah, man. Salute, salute, salute. So I see that you be in front of cameras, you be on stage, like you stated earlier. You open up for Les Brown, man. A lot of people are wanting to get in speaking, right? Because they feel like they have something to say, something of high value that can inspire an audience. And so for that speaker who is hoping to make a living from speaking to people, or to inspire the youth, or to just speak to a classroom that teaches them something to help them further their education. So what would you say to the up-and-coming speaker, and how did you get into speaking in front of all those people?
Yeah, a great way to get, so how did I get into speaking? Number one, so how to get into speaking, what you want to do is you want to figure out what your story is going to be. What are you going to say when you're on stage, right? That's it, really. Just focus on that for now. Everything else will come later. Delivery will come later. How to make a clear impression will come later. How to not be nervous on stage, that stuff will come later. Going back to what we were saying earlier about how things compound over time. But at first, you just want to say, what is the one thing that I want to bring into the world to inspire other people with? Usually it's going to be your story. Everyone has a story, right? Now, your story may be different from mine. Mine may be different from yours. If you told me your story, I may be inspired by you. And if I'm inspired by you, that's worth telling more people. And the best way to tell more people is to get on a stage. Now, a stage doesn't necessarily have to be made of wood, right? Doesn't necessarily have to be in a physical place. A stage could be like this, a podcast interview, right? So when it comes to getting started, the first thing I would do, if you want to get your talk down, and if you want to get your message down and your story down, is the first thing I would do is locally, physically go out to places where you can give back and make an impact into the community. So go to homeless shelters, go to juvenile centers, go to centers where there are adoption centers, and talk to the kids that live there. Talk to the people that are there. Tell them your story, and do this over and over and over again. Why? Number one, it feels good. Why does it feel good? Because you're making an impact in the community, and because you could potentially inspire somebody else with your words. And the second they hear your words, that may be the switch that gets them out of that adoption center, that gets them out of that juvenile center, that gets them out of that homeless shelter. So I would start there first. After you get your delivery down, your story down, and you get your message down, then what I would start doing is I would start looking at podcasts and doing other speaking opportunities where people allow you to speak for free, like small conferences or small shows, right? And start reaching out to those people via email. Go to Twitter, follow them, send them a message. Hey, I'm just getting started in speaking on stages. I would love to speak on yours. What does that look like? How do I sign up? I will do all the promoting on my side to make sure you get as much free promotion as possible if you let me talk there. Right?
Okay, it's dope. That's great advice. So I see that you have, talked and worked with United States congressional people, mayors and legislature people, and people have recognized your leadership and so on and so forth. And so, man, tell me, how did that happen? That's great. That's wonderful. That's a highlight, in your journey, man. That's something that people will talk about from years to come. That's something that people can study and get inspired. So tell me about that.
Yeah, that's all the fun accolades, right? So I've been named hometown hero twice in Las Vegas. One of those times I received the Hometown Hero Award was in front of a crowd of 80,000 people at WWE SummerSlam. They brought me out.
Wow.
They're like, here's Siloh Moses, Hometown Hero. And I was like, whoa, this is nuts, right? 80,000 people screaming. Also, I've been awarded by the United States Congress, United States Senate for the work that we do in the community here in Las Vegas. I've been recognized for a top 40 under 40 by Esquire Magazine. I mean, again, the Esquire, I just want to be clear here. The recognition and the awards is just the rest of the world finally catching up to what I'm doing, if that makes sense. Like,
it does.
Before the first award, before any nomination, I was still out on street corners serving people. And before meeting, people in Congress and Senate, I've been serving people 4 years, 5 years before they even knew who I was. So the accolades don't make me. If anything, I made those accolades. Right?
My man. I can dig it. My man. It feels good to hear somebody say that the accolades didn't make me, but I made those accolades. You know what I mean? That's great. That's great. So another question I want to ask you, I just want to piggyback off to life and happiness and stuff like that. Music is a happy place for a lot of people. So are you a music guy as well?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about your music journey.
Yeah, it's funny that Charles is here because when I first met Charles, man, I've known Charles forever, like forever. And he and I were both in the music business. And, I was living in New York at the time, and I had a small management company where I was managing artists. And these are unsigned artists, but had absolute amazing potential. And these record labels would come to me and they'd say, hey, we just signed this new artist. We don't really have the budget to promote him, but maybe, you could do something with him. I was like, all right, cool. Let me see what you got. Right. And we go through the whole process. I'd hear him sing and do a lot of good stuff. And I'd keep the ones I liked and those that were better off suited with another manager, I'd send them to another manager. That's how Charles and I met. I had a guy that I was managing. He was like this young dude, white cat, who sang crazy good R&B music. he did. He was nasty with the R&B. He was good. And then Charles had an artist that he was managing at the time, and she was an amazing R&B artist. And we just happened to connect because he saw I was doing big things. I saw he was doing big things. I started to hear his artists on my radio stations and vice versa. And I mean my radio stations. I mean the radio stations up in New York. And he started hearing my artists on radio stations down in Florida. Mm-hmm. And then we just started to link up. And so when it goes back to music and am I a music person? Yeah, growing up in the house, music was always playing. My grandma would listen to like Smokey Robinson, Temptations. My mom was always into like 70s and songwriters. She always liked, bands from that era. My uncles like the 80s. I like the 90s, early 2000s. So music was always filling the house. If anything, we had more radios in the house than we had TVs. Right?
Of course. But I do know if you're connected with Charles, it's got to be some music in there somewhere. For sure.
Yeah. So we connected. Charles is my man, bro. I've known Charles for a long time, man. So yeah, the music thing has always been a part of it. So whether it's production, management, just giving artists a stage, being in service to music artists, right? Giving them their platform, getting them in front of people. Again, getting them on stage so people recognize them, hear their music, right? Because like you said, music makes people feel good. And if this artist over here has music that makes people feel good, but his music's not being heard, if I could be the man that delivers his music to the people, I'm going to do that for that artist.
Yes, sir. I love it, man. I love it, man. So while you're out there in Vegas, man, do you do You manage artists, or do you still do movie scores, or like what? How are you involved with the music out there in Vegas where you're at now?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's kind of on the back shelf, right? Because serving those who are less fortunate kind of became my main thing now. Running my for-profit business has become a thing now. Music in the background is just helping out artists wherever I can, helping out DJs whenever I can here in Vegas. You know, DJs will come to me and maybe look for, you know, a hookup to get into a club or to get in a festival, open up for a certain DJ. I've been out here long enough where I have those connections. If I can make that connection, great. But that's basically as far as it goes today with music, except that I'm still a huge fan of music. I still listen to the stuff my grandma listened to. I still listen to the stuff my mom listened to, right? I still listen to all the classics, and I still have my own music, right? And it's always playing in my house, just like it was always playing in the house when I was a kid.
Okay, that's dope, man. That's dope. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, man, and we'll be right back with Brother Moses, and we'll be getting more into his journey, man, and his lifestyle.
Shout out to the men that just came home from jail and said no matter what the circumstances is, I'm never going back. Shout out to the men that said I'm tired of neglecting my children. I'm stepping up and being a man for my children, teaching them morals, honor, responsibility. Shout out to the men that say, you know what, I'm tired of sleeping on that couch. I'm tired of using my mother. I'm tired of using that girl. I'm going to step up and be a man for me. Shout out to the men that just graduated from college or going to college. Shout out to the men that graduated from trade school. Shout out to the men that say, yo, I'm just tired of being tired and I need to make a change. Shout out to the men that stayed there, that's raising their children. Shout out to the men that's getting married or want to stay married. Shout out to the men that's taking care of children that's not biologically theirs. Shout out to the men that's trying to figure it out. Shout out to the men because you are a beautiful soul. Shout out to the men that's just being a part of everybody's life to make a change, man. Stop the violence.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to the men, man. The men don't get enough love for all that they do, for how true they are, you know, and for the challenges they take on of being a father to a child that's not theirs. But they don't look at it like that. They look at it like this child needs to be groomed. This child needs somebody. This child needs somebody they can count on. So shout out to the great men that's doing great things. You know what I mean? I always like to highlight that, man, you know, because, you know, we should support one another as men. You know, there's nothing wrong with uplifting your brother. There's nothing wrong with checking on your brother's mental health. There's nothing wrong with checking on his physical and emotional health. And there's nothing wrong with elevating him spiritually. You know, like, we have to do that for one another. So shout out to the men.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. 100%.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, before we close out, man, I got one last question.
Go for it.
How did you get into business coaching, life coaching, just coaching, period? Because it seems like you coach in a lot of different aspects, on a lot of different levels. But the levels become major. You know what I mean? Because some of the most high and prolific business people come to you and want to pay you for consultation or pay you for advice. And so, how did you make that happen with the coaching?
Yeah, it's simple. It's on my shirt.
Oh, okay.
It's simple.
Oh,
don't quit. Don't quit. That's it. It's that simple, right? So again, it just goes into compounding. Things just become bigger over time, right? The hardest part is getting started. After getting started, the hardest part is not getting frustrated with the fact that you're not seeing major movement. You're not going to see major movement in the very beginning, because anything you do in life worthwhile is going to take effort. Anything you do in life that's worthwhile is going to take time to progress. Anything you do in life that takes time is going to require you to wake up early, go to bed late, put it into work every day. It's going to take it. Anything worthwhile is going to take that. And the way that you get to success is by doing that day after week after week, month after month, year after year. When I went out and served my first pot of spaghetti, it served one person who was less fortunate. The very next day I went back, there wasn't 100,000 people in line. We didn't serve 100,000 people until we were serving consistently every single day, every single week, whether it rained or snowed or whatever it looked like outside. We still served in the rain to those who are less fortunate, food, clothing, and hygiene for years. The first time we served our 100,000th meal was 4 years in. Right? So this stuff takes time. Right? So anything worthwhile, especially if you're out there giving back, you're making an impact in your community. If you want to start a business, one of the things that I say is don't expect it to blow up overnight. There's no hacks to this stuff. There's no shortcuts to this stuff. There's no sleeping into this stuff. There's no going out on the weekends and being like, I'll start again on Monday to this stuff. You live this stuff. You breathe this stuff. And you do it 7 days a week, nonstop, no days off because you love it, period. And of course, you don't quit.
I hear that, man. That's great. That's great. Phenomenal, man. Phenomenal. So, man, before we get out of here, go ahead and tell people where they can find you at, or any big announcements that you may have that you want to announce.
Cool. Yeah. Again, if you want to find me on social, you can find me at Siloh Moses. That's SILOHMOSES. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. You can find me. If you want my book, again, go to Amazon. My book is Better Than This. You want to search Better Than This on Amazon by M. Hollis. That's Siloh M backwards. And if you need any coaching, you need any support, just, I'm not afraid. Slide into my DMs. Be like, Siloh, I heard you on King Jacob's podcast. You inspired me. I want to start a business. I want to make an impact in the community. I want to learn how to get on stage and tell my story. I want to write a book. I'll be there to help you. Don't be afraid to reach out.
All right, you heard it first. The Chatterbox with King Jacob. Siloh Moses, man. Businessman, visionary, business developer, serial entrepreneur, a business coach, life coach, all the above, man. This brother is doing phenomenal things. Is going to keep on blessing people, and so who knows, man? You might look on the internet and see him speaking to some people out in Argentina. So the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. So I just want to say I thank you for coming on, man, and we definitely got to do it again, man. And I just want to say peace, blessings. Chest out, chin up, keep going, my brother.
That's right. That's right. Amen, brother.
Yes, sir, man. So until the next time, folks, y'all have a good night. The Chatterbox with King Jacob is sponsored by Exquisite PR Firm, powered by Exquisite PR Firm. Coming to a stage or city near you. I do live events. I cover live stories. I gotta get out there in Vegas and cover something for my man, brother Moses, man. And so, man, y'all just have a great rest of the year, man. Have a happy Turkey Day. Get with the family and friends, laugh, because you already know where there's laughter, there's some lies being told. So just have fun and laugh. You know what I mean? So I just want to say we out of here, man. Take care. God bless. Peace.
Peace.